Group and the IMF in Marrakesh, despite the terrible earthquake in the health region of Morocco, is a demonstration of our resilience and our commitment to promoting dialogue, innovation, and cooperation for the future of our continent. It also honors the trust placed in Morocco. We are convinced that it is in this moment of challenge that Africa can unveil its strength and ability to overcome obstacles and build a better future. Ladies and gentlemen, the Voice of Africa side event marks an important milestone in our quest for academic excellence, the promotion of research, and our commitment to the future of our continent, which coincides with this crucial global gathering. An Africa that is sovereign, productive, sustainable, resilient, creative, and innovative. An Africa strengthened by its youth, its wise men and women, whether they live there or contribute to its prosperity through the diaspora around the world. A vibrant Africa boasting countless assets. When we set out to organize this event, we endeavored to provide Africa with a prominent platform at the heart of these major international encounters. We aim to create a space where Africa's voices could be heard loud and clear, and where the challenges and opportunities of our continent could be fully explored in harmony with those of other world-class researchers, experts, and entrepreneurs. That's why, after thorough consideration, we have carefully selected the major topics that will frame the discussions during this event: food security and sustainability, entrepreneurship, African diaspora and innovation, and last but not least, cultural and creative industries. These topics have been selected for their relevance and urgency, taking into account the realities of Africa today. Allow me to present them briefly. The first topic, food security and sustainability, highlights the crucial importance of food security and sustainability for the future of our continent. Africa faces complex food security challenges, and we need to explore innovative solutions to ensure a stable and sustainable food supply, ultimately to enable Africa to contribute to global food security and capitalize on this role. The second topic, entrepreneurship, celebrates the spirit of enterprise in Africa. We firmly believe that entrepreneurship is a powerful driving force for economic growth and social development, and we want to encourage and support African entrepreneurs who are shaping the future of our continent. The third topic, African diaspora and innovation, acknowledges the essential role of the African diaspora in the creation and dissemination of innovation. We want to explore how the diaspora can make a significant contribution to Africa's evolution. In this context, we'd be delighted to share the exclusive results of our 1.5 million leaders study next Thursday. Finally, last but not least, the fourth topic, cultural and creative industries, highlights the richness of our cultural and creative heritage. These industries have enormous potential to stimulate economic growth and strengthen our cultural identity. Over the next few days, we'll have the chance to hear renowned experts, visionary innovators, talented artists, and inspiring leaders share their ideas and experiences. I encourage each and every one of you to actively participate in the discussions, share your knowledge, and contribute to establishing a common vision for the future of our continent. We are also delighted to present the Solutions Village, which is being organized as part of the event. The Solution Village is a space dedicated to innovation and creativity, where companies, startups, NGOs, and local initiatives can showcase their projects and innovative solutions to tackle some of Africa's most pressing issues. This village embodies our commitment to concrete action and the implementation of ideas discussed here. It offers a unique platform for networking, learning, and inspiration. Over the next few days, we have the opportunity to explore this village, interact with its exhibitors, and discover the innovations emerging from our continent. In conclusion, I would like to thank all those who have contributed to the making of this event, our partners, our dedicated team, and of course you, dear participants, for your commitment to Africa and for being here today. May the Voice of Africa be the beginning of fruitful dialogue, innovative collaboration, and inspiration for all those who believe in the power of Africa to shape a better future. I wish you all inspiring discussions and a rewarding experience at UM6P and at the 2023 annual meetings of the World Bank Group and the IMF, both in Ben Gurion and in Marrakech. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Hisham El Habty, President of UM6P, for your welcoming words, for reminding us of the importance of the events happening today here in Ben Gurion and in Marrakech. And thank you as well for setting the scene for such amazing discussions happening this week here. And also, Dr. Very important for this call of action to everybody sitting here today. My name is Leonardo Vergutz. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer of OCP, and I'm going to be moderating this session today. Right now, I would like to invite our speakers to take their seats here. We'll start with Mr. Jacques Attali. Dr. Daniel Naum. Dr. Terry Roberts. Dr. Dimitris Bertsilis. Mr. Eliezer Fali. It's a great pleasure to be with all of you here today. And as we just heard from the US former secretary, the World Bank, the 2023 World Bank IMF meetings, it focused on what it will take to end poverty on a livable planet and how to respond to these intertwined global challenges. What solutions have worked on the ground in developing countries? How do we boost jobs, digital infrastructure, and climate action? Well, this brings us to the theme of this first side event, which is resilient and sustainable agricultural system, our only way forward. Agriculture is one of the sectors emitting the most greenhouse gas emissions, with around 1/4 of all our yearly emissions. This is the result of agriculture having a single objective for a long time, which was to produce enough food to avoid the catastrophic Malthusian famine prediction, which we have successfully accomplished. However, what many see as a big problem actually represents our biggest opportunity. The opportunity to change, to improve the way we do agriculture and ensure not only food security, but also additional life-supporting ecosystem services. It is estimated that 95% of our food comes from the soils. And soils, they are the connector of our major societal challenges. Developing a sustainable agriculture that will ensure healthy soils will allow us to feed our always growing population, to cut greenhouse gas emissions, and sequestering carbon in our soils. By doing so, agriculture will become an important component of our solutions to meet our sustainable development goals, something that we are lagging behind. Today, our esteemed panelists, they will discuss the future of agriculture, the complexity and importance of developing healthy soils, the correct use of nutrients as the foundation of sustainable agriculture, particularly in the tropics, and how to bring the right incentives to give the support that farmers need to transform agriculture. I would like to thank again to all our esteemed panelists, and I would like to invite Mr. Jacques Attali to share his views on the future of agriculture, how climate change will affect food security, how different regions of the world they will face these different problems. Mr. Attali is the president of Attali Associates. Mr. Attali, thank you very much for being here with us today. You have the mic and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. As I'm told by some of you speak French, and as I like to speak my own language, therefore I will switch to French, if you don't mind. Merci beaucoup de cet accueil. Merci, Charles, de cette merveilleuse hospitalité. Je ne suis pas un spécialiste de l'agriculture, donc je vais parler d'une façon plus générale en essayant de poser les problèmes tels que je les vois. Il y a dans cette salle beaucoup de gens très jeunes. 2050, c'est demain matin pour eux. Et je voudrais me concentrer sur les enjeux de l'alimentation en Afrique d'ici à 2050. Je serai non pas pessimiste, mais je serai alarmiste. Je pense que l'histoire est tragique, que le pire est toujours le plus vraisemblable et que la seule façon d'avoir une chance de l'éviter, c'est de s'y préparer. N'étant pas un spécialiste de l'agriculture ni de l'alimentation, mais en regardant ces sujets dans le contexte global de la prévision de long terme, qui est mon principal sujet de préoccupation aujourd'hui, je dirais que les enjeux de l'agriculture, en particulier de l'agriculture en Afrique aujourd'hui, sont immenses et pratiquement inaccessibles. Et je serais très heureux d'entendre les grands spécialistes qui vont parler après moi, à la fois compléter ou nuancer mon diagnostic, puis ensuite nous parlerons des enjeux de demain et des réponses. Je rappellerai d'abord quelques évidences. La population de la planète va augmenter de 1 milliard à 2 milliards, elle va passer à 9 milliards et demi d'ici à 2050. La population africaine va passer à quelque chose comme 2 milliards et demi. La population des villes va augmenter massivement. Je rappelle qu'en 2050, le Nigeria aura plus d'habitants que les États-Unis et qu'au rythme actuel, Lagos aura 130 millions d'habitants. Impossible, mais pourtant, c'est inscrit dans les faits. Les villes africaines vont grandir considérablement et pour nourrir cette population à l'échelle mondiale, il semblerait qu'il faille augmenter la production d'au moins 40%, sans tenir compte de toutes les mutations qu'il va falloir avoir, parce que quand le niveau de vie augmente, on ne veut pas consommer la même chose que ce qu'on a consommé avant, sans tenir compte d'une évolution qui aura lieu de toute façon, et dont on parlera au niveau des solutions, qui est qu'au moins un quart, sinon un tiers, sinon la moitié de la population de la planète devra être végétarien. On parlera de cela sans doute tout à l'heure. En tout cas, globalement, on pense que la production agricole mondiale devrait augmenter d'au moins 40%. Et pour ces raisons, la production agricole africaine devrait augmenter d'au moins 100%. Elle devrait doubler, sachant qu'à l'heure actuelle, la production agricole de l'Afrique ne nourrit pas l'Afrique, à la fois parce que l'Afrique est une exportatrice nette, large de plus en plus, une importatrice nette, large de plus en plus, elle importe sa propre nourriture, mais aussi parce que ces terres sont largement, je dirais, vendues, appropriées, certains diraient spoliées, par quelques grandes puissances étrangères. Une grande partie de la production agricole africaine part à l'étranger. Face à cela, est-ce que l'Afrique peut se trouver en situation de nourrir sa population? Au rythme actuel, toujours selon les statistiques des grandes institutions internationales, le nombre de gens qui en Afrique ne mangeront pas à leur faim en 2050 va augmenter d'au moins 60%. Sur une population qui, je rappelle, va passer à 2 milliards et demi d'habitants, sans ajouter ce qui sera en matière d'eau et évidemment de conséquences conflictuelles. Est-ce qu'on a les moyens de faire en sorte que la production agricole africaine augmente autant que cela dans l'état actuel des technologies et au vu de ce qui arrive. Ce qui arrive, c'est une formidable évolution climatique. Ne croyez pas ce qu'on vous dit quand on vous dit que la température de la planète va augmenter d'un degré et demi ou 2 degrés, c'est pas vrai. Au rythme actuel, c'est au moins 4, ce qui veut dire des écarts d'au moins 10, plus 5, moins 5, ce qui veut dire des températures du sol qui augmenteront au moins de cela, sinon plus. Ça veut dire aussi de très grandes aggravations, surtout des situations des sols dans les pays les plus fragiles. Je ne veux pas vous noyer de chiffres, mais on pense qu'au moins 2 mois des pays les plus fragiles seront à des températures supérieures à 35 degrés. Et je pense que c'est une estimation très, très, très optimiste. Ce sera bien pire que ça. Parce que ça signifie évidemment qu'on ne pourra pas cultiver de la même façon sur ce sol. On ne pourra pas non plus augmenter beaucoup les sols à cultiver, à la fois parce qu'ils ne sont pas disponibles, à la fois parce que les villes vont continuer à croître, mais aussi parce que, nous en parlions tout à l'heure avec le professeur Sousson, non, il y a une contradiction majeure qui est en train de s'installer entre l'objectif d'une capacité de l'Afrique à se nourrir et les autres objectifs écologiques qui sont à la fois de protéger les sols, de développer la forestation et d'organiser la séquestration du carbone. Ces deux objectifs, se nourrir et se protéger, sont apparemment contradictoires. Et on sait que dans l'histoire humaine, quand on a le choix entre se nourrir et autre chose, on choisit toujours se nourrir. Et donc, il est vraisemblable que si on ne change pas très profondément les modes d'organisation de l'agriculture, les organisations technologiques et culturelles et politiques, l'agriculture sera, comme les villes d'ailleurs, l'ennemi du climat, alors qu'on pourrait faire en sorte qu'elle soit son ami. Voilà les grands enjeux, je crois, qui sont devant nous, et je serais très heureux qu'on puisse compléter ou nuancer nos analyses pour aller plus loin dans la recherche de solutions.
Thank you very much, Mr. Attali. Thank you for raising this complexity that we're going to face and the challenge that we're going to face in the near future now. I would like now to call next Dr. Daniel Naoun, who is an emeritus professor at Aix-Marseille University, founder of CEREG, the Centre Européen de Recherche des Géosciences de l'Environment, hopefully I pronounced it correctly, former director of research of the French Ministry of Education, Research and Technology with the Minister Claude Allègre, former director of SPRED, and member of the Academy of Sciences in Brazil and in Morocco, among others. Dr. Naoun, thank you again very much for being here with us today. As we just heard, we have many challenges ahead, especially in Africa. And agriculture is by nature a complex system, with many multiple interactions influencing each other in a continuous loop. What does the climate, energy, water, food nexus mean? And then why healthy soils are the major connector of this nexus?
Thank you very much. Well, I will speak English. Even if you understand French, I will try. The carbon cycle is essential to the maintenance of life, of climate, and to the composition of atmosphere. But the dose makes the poison. The Jules Charney's report, requested by President Carter in 1979, indicated that the atmospheric concentrations of carbon were continuously increasing, stemming from the combustion of fossil fuels and land use, and this would affect the climate. When 10 years after the IPCC was created, the scientists who made it up forgot half of the problem, namely the contribution of land use, focusing their attention only on the combustion of fossil resources. That is to say, on energy. The IPCC's error is not to have consider the importance of land use from the outset and not to evaluate it today at its fair value. The simple and linear reasoning of considering that by stopping the consumption of fossil fuels, we would stop the climate from warming is faulty carbon accounting. No real-world problem can be solved. All on Earth works by bifurcation. So, global warming must be analyzed in a multimodal way. Everything our universities don't teach. This is why our university must be reorganized into African lighthouses to convey multidisciplinary innovations to small farmers and practitioners. Water security, food security, climate change, loss of biodiversity, ecosystem services delivery, and green energy are our major societal challenges and will never be resolved as long as each issue is considered independently. They should therefore be treated at the same time. It is mandatory to obtain a less carbonaceous atmosphere. The common denominator to all these challenges on which we should act is healthy soil, the only resource that is not renewable on the time of a human life. Healthy soil remaining the only carbon reservoir to be used urgently to impede global warming to soar. Massive digital resources must accompany all these scientific initiatives to collect data of all kinds, refine regional and global models, communicate research results, technological innovations, the state of the markets, to help renewable resources to develop, to make it possible to monitor and quantify in real time the degradation or restoration of the natural environment. In short, they will allow us to act quickly. Sad as it may be, CO2 has a lifespan in the atmosphere which can go up to 100 years. So it will take time to stabilize global warming, and we will have to live in a warmer world for several decades.
Thank you very much, Dr. Daniel Naum, for reminding us the importance of healthy soils and how there is no linear solution for the complex system that we live. And with that, I would like to call now Dr. Terry Roberts. Terry Roberts is the former president and the founder of the International Plant Nutrition Institute, IPNI, and the head of the advisory board of the Global Phosphorus Institute, GPI. Dr. Terry Roberts, just connecting with what Professor Daniel Naum just brought, healthy soils are again the major connector of our major societal challenges. Nutrients are source of life, and bringing them on the right way is the solution, the source, the foundation of any sustainable agriculture. The mission of IPNI was to develop and promote scientific information about the responsible management of plant nutrition for the benefit of humans. For our nutrient stewardship was IPNI's core strategy to meet the world's food needs in a sustainable way. Could you please explain what does it mean, what the 4R means, and then how it supports closing yield gaps, reducing greenhouse gas emissions, and increasing soil carbon sequestration? How bringing nutrients on the right way they are the foundation of these sustainable agricultural systems. The floor is yours. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Leonidas. Applying the right source of plant nutrients at the right rate at the right time and in the right place are the core concepts of this idea of 4R nutrient stewardship. Each of these rights is necessary for sustainable management of plant nutrition, and that is management which will sustainably increase crop production, which is vital to food security here in Africa. These fertilizer rights, source, rate, time, and place, are connected to sustainability, to the goals of sustainability by producing economic, environmental, and social outcomes, but within cropping systems. Each of these fertilizer Rs are supported by scientific principles that are global in nature, so they're applicable all over the world, but they're applied locally. They have to be applied at a site-specific basis. For example, one of the key principles associated with determining the right rate of fertilizer to apply is you have to assess the nutrient supply from all sources. You need to know how much nutrients are present in the soil, and you need to assess the plant demand. How this will be done in the Corn Belt in the United States will be different as to how it will be done in sub-Saharan Africa. But the principle is the same. You still need to determine how much your soil or other sources are going to supply to the crop. If you properly apply these principles of 4R plant nutrition, you will optimize crop production. The key to that is applying the correct amount of fertilizer or other nutrient that a crop needs for a realistic yield goal. So farmers need to know, what is the yield goal? What is the yield potential of their particular crop? That is determined by genetics, by the environment, and other things. But a farmer needs to know how much he's going to grow or capable of growing before he can know how much fertilizer or organic nutrients he needs to apply in order to achieve that goal. There is no room for blanket applications when we're talking about sustainable nutrient management. So using the right amount of nutrient helps ensure that nutrient removal by the crop and nutrient input by fertilizer and organic sources are balanced. If you end up with excess nutrients, they can be lost to the environment. If you have inadequate nutrients, that results in nutrient mining. You lose nutrients from the soil, and eventually you'll have a lot of land degradation, which again is a major issue here in Africa. When 4Rs are applied properly, they will help reduce greenhouse gas emissions. This is primarily by helping to increase nutrient use efficiency, especially for nitrogen. If you can increase nutrient use efficiency, you'll reduce losses of those nutrients. So the crop and the soil conditions help determine what the right source of fertilizer or organic nutrient you're using. Sometimes these are slow-release products or products that require inhibitors such as ureas or nitrification inhibitors. The source of nutrient that you're using will determine its rate, when you apply it, and where you apply it in the soil. Right rate will prevent over-fertilization. It prevents losses of N2O to the atmosphere. So our goal is to try and manage nutrient use efficiency. We have to remember that nutrients interact with each other. We want to have a balanced application of all plant nutrients. For example, you know that we could increase nitrogen use efficiency if we apply it together with phosphorus. But our nutrients also interact with the cropping system. So if you're practicing conservation agricultural practices, that is going to impact how you manage your nutrients. In terms of carbon sequestration, anytime we can increase crop yields, we will produce more roots, more biomass, more residues, which will capture more carbon. Carbon and nitrogen, though, are closely linked together in the soil. You cannot sequester carbon in the soil without adding more nitrogen. The soil has to maintain a carbon to nitrogen ratio. We know that adding nitrogen and phosphorus will increase carbon sequestration and slow the natural losses of carbon that occur when we till our soils. So these scientific principles that support 4Rs are the same all over the world. However, how they're put into practice locally will vary with the soil, the climate, the weather you have, economic conditions, and the management capacity of the farmers. Farmers need help selecting the right practices for their farm. They need good advice, and those who are giving the advice need to be well trained.
Thank you very much, Dr. Terry Roberts. It's great to hear again remind us the importance of nutrients for the sustainable agriculture to sequester more carbon, how carbon sequestration in the soil depends on nutrients. So it's not only carbon. And that actually, there is already a tool that would allow us to do so. Thank you very much for your insights on the 4 Rs. Then my next question now goes to Dr. Dimitris Bertsimas. Dr. Dimitris is Associate Dean of Business Analytics, the Boeing Professor of Operations Research, and the Director of the Master of Business Analytics program at MIT. Thank you for being here today with us, Dr. Dimitris. And well, talking about all this complexity right now, complexity from applying nutrients, complexity from dealing with the soil, the challenge that we're going to face. During your career, you have applied artificial intelligence in a variety of fields. In recent years, you have developed methods for digital agriculture. How can artificial intelligence improve food security in general and in Africa in particular?
Thank you very much for the invitation. Before I respond, I would like to make a few remarks about UN6P. I have visited UN6P about a decade ago. It was primarily only land here. I would like to acknowledge the tremendous progress the university has made and congratulate the community for this progress. It is really astonishing. So I have worked in AI for several decades. The vision has been to contribute to some of the significant problems of our times, and one of the most important is food security. Working with some of my doctoral students at MIT and together with OCP, we created the company called Ground Truth Analytics. Working with OCP, we have collected data using about 500 agents across Africa, about 500,000 parcels from 7 countries in Africa: Senegal, Ivory Coast, Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, and Rwanda, and Morocco, of course. And there are 2 more coming, Tanzania and Ethiopia. I was hoping we can show the video I have prepared.
Now. While Dr. Bertsimas gives his speech.
Is somebody working on it? We hope.
Yes,
okay. So we have developed a software that you see. I won't comment directly, but you hopefully have a sense. So there are several models we have built using AI. The agents have collected data about many aspects of the particular parcels. So the first is we have now satellite data, and using the satellite data across the globe, across Africa, our first module is field delineation. This is the drawing of the boundaries for all parcels in the country. This way, we know what is the arable land in that country. The second aspect is crop detection, which you see at the moment. This is based on satellite information. We detect what crop is being produced in a particular location. This utilizes artificial intelligence, where we use the data that the agents collected. We know, for example, that they have rice in this area or others in other areas. And then we built a method that only on using satellite information has crop detection. Third, we have also built a system that does what's called phenomenological phasing. That is, we detect during the season what is the state of growth for each crop and whether the growth is proceeding appropriately. This enables us to have better visibility on how successful across the country, in every parcel, the progress of the plant is progressing. You see it at the moment. In addition, we have weather information we collect. And this is over time. We know the temperature, we know the precipitation, and also vegetation indices. You will see it a bit later in in the video. So these are 4 things we have already completed, and we are also working on yield prediction at the farmers level, but correspondingly at the country level. And most importantly, optimizing the yield for the farmer by selecting which appropriate fertilizer, which crops, and in what rotation. Finally, we aspire, haven't built it yet, build a system that advises farmers on insurance, lending, seeds, and irrigation. Regarding the impact of these digital tools, trying to answer the question that Leonardo asked me. So they enable governments to monitor the season. Once you detect that the season is not going to be particularly successful at the country level, you can actually plan for food imports. Also, if you detect from a phenological stage that the plants are not progressing appropriately, you might prevent widespread disease by pesticides. You can also inform policy shaping. For example, what type of crops in particular regions, planning for infrastructure, also shaping the supply chain, develop access to water resources and infrastructure. And finally, incentivize farmers for best formulas for fertilizers. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bertsinos, for this great tool, which is again the AI helping us to